So hi everyone, we are 7 Recipes. My name is Angel and I will be presenting first.
I'm William.
I'm Frankie.
I'm Jeff.
Cool. Okay, so just for some background for 7 Recipes, we wanted to talk about the problem first before we go into the app. So the problem is that often people go to the grocery stores, but they're not really sure what to purchase. They get very intimidated by going through the aisles, seeing so many different types of foods, but they don't know what exactly they want to make. They know they want to eat chicken or vegetables, but they don't know what exactly they want to cook with those ingredients. So we're going to dive into the next slide, which is the solution. So the good thing about 7 Recipes is that you have 7 different types of recipes that randomizes. So the good thing about that is that you don't make the same recipe over and over. There's 7 different types of recipes that get randomly generized. So you could refresh the page if you don't like the recipe. So another advantage is that there's a shopping list. So you have everything consolidated in one little list. So instead of having 5 different lists that say chicken, 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 you have one that just says 5 pounds of chicken. And then it also consolidates based on the types of items such as onions. For example, red onions taste better raw and yellow onions taste better cooked, so that it consolidates to different types of onions that you actually need. And the perfect thing about this is that it's seamless shopping. It drives to Todoist, so you have all your ingredients in one little list instead of writing on 5 different sheets of paper of different things.
What's Todoist?
Oh, so Todoist. Todoist is a list of tasks that you can have for the application. So it tells you, like, on this day, like, you're going to go grocery shopping. So you assign an event. So example would be, like, you go grocery shopping on Tuesdays. You assign all the events to put on the list to buy all the ingredients on that day. And you get the circular, let's say, on Sunday. So you have 2 days in advance where you know, like, hey, I know the circular is coming out on Sunday. And I know on Tuesdays when I go shopping. So that helps. And then next, following for the next slide, we're going to go to Frankie, and he's going to talk about advantages.
So advantages of this app. When we built 7 Recipes, we wanted to make it for people building a healthy lifestyle. We wanted to help people save money. We all know, like, going to work, coming home, there's tons of time restrictions. You want to cook different meals, different nights, but you always want to spice up. You want to try something new. You want to try something healthy, but you don't want the same thing every night. So this site makes it 10 times easier to cook new meals ahead of time, completely prepared, in a low cost and low maintenance way. Also, for people who have dietary restrictions, we have a bar where you can restrict different ingredients, so you won't get so everything that you're cooking will go straight. Will agree with your diet and with your health restrictions. So about 7 Recipes, we used 3 different APIs. Well, we used 3 different APIs. We used Google Tasks, which turned into Todoist. Idiom, which is our recipe API. It's a site that pulls different recipes from all over the web. And we used the Twitter API. The Twitter API has a get function that pulls hashtags and then certain feeds that we choose using a Twitter widget. So anything that we want to post on our page, whatever feeds we want to post, we can load so we can help anyone who's on our site reference other material that might be useful for them. This is a screenshot of the Yourman site. This is the demo. We're going to go to Will.
Wait, Jeff is not.
We're going to follow
I think it deleted.
No.
No, it is. Not here.
Yeah, the
Whatever. So basically, the main issues we had were first off building the queries, but once we got it down. It was basically just continuously working on the queries to get them to work through each API. And the second main issue we had was getting the APIs to work through the Edamame, the Twitter, and the Todoist all to work interchangeably. And then basically the biggest issue we had was getting the callback from the Edamame API. Basically, now we're still having the issue because we didn't get to finish it, but it's loading. It takes too long to load to the screen, and that's still the issue, and it's the biggest issue that we had, and we didn't have time to fix it. And then now the demo.
All right, so you want to go to? I'll just move.
Yeah, just
So, like Jeff was saying, one of the issues that we had, I'm just going to try to find it here, random recipes. All right. So one of the issues that we have is we make several callbacks because we want you guys to have different recipes, right? We want you to have, we don't want you to only buy shrimp or chicken. We want you to have like one day chicken, one day salmon, one day lamb. So we had to do different calls because the APIs that we saw wouldn't allow to do a random by itself. So we had to build a query and call that query multiple times, and that led to a lot of time. So we had to kind of wait for this to happen. Once you have your recipes loaded, the first thing that you see, you're going to see 7 new recipes. They're all different. You can, let's say I don't want pork, and I can still, I'm going to randomize that one. So as you can see, it takes a couple of minutes because it's doing these calls. Once you get your recipes back, they are all pushed into an array, and then we have we got to build an ingredient list. So I can check my ingredients, and it's going to give me all the ingredients of all the lists of all the recipes that we show, so you can guys go to the store. But the good feature is, let's check out what we have. Let's say what we need. I'm sorry. We'll check out what we need. I'm just going to check out the top 4 here, and I can send to my Todoist. My Todoist is an application. It's a to-do list application. Let's go to groceries, and then you guys can see. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, refresh there.
No, it's right there. I just want to
Yeah.
make it bigger. There you go. And it's loaded. It's loaded onto Todoist, and it's also loaded onto my phone as well. So the idea is for this to save you time and go to the store, and just buy these 4 things, and you can make everything that's on your recipes.
When using our site, anyone who has to-do list, you just link your account straight on our site.
That's it. Pretty simple.
All right, guys. I'm going to open it up for questions. Or shoot it to the Google Docs thing because checkout deleted. It's not there.
Do we have any questions?
Any questions?
I'm just kidding. I was wondering who had one.
Oh,
Jeffy, I took it from the other homework section.
So this Twitter feed is driving from my recipes, which is a very...
So you can retweet and favorite any tweet that's on our page. You can't directly post, but it'll pop up with a link to Twitter. So then from there, you can retweet and then do a separate tweet. Fun.
And what was a piece of code that you were the most proud of?
I'd say the Edamon, the API. We worked really hard on that. Will and Jeff and Angel put a lot of work into that, and getting the unique call IDs. We used them up testing. We had to email them for new IDs. I'd say that was the most challenging part. Getting everything to run smoothly and efficiently.
Yeah, we probably went through about 15 emails getting different API keys.
Wow.
So the difficult part of the code that I think we feel more proud of are 2. One is pushing it to Todoist, and the calls. Now the cool thing about the calls is if I go down, this actually is what actually we feel the most proud of. So what the thing was, if you were doing the calls and you try to get back the array, it was always pulling back empty. The reason it was pulling back empty is because each call that you do to the URL, it takes a while to respond. All URLs or all APIs are different. So some of them are faster, some of them are slower. This one was definitely way slower. So by doing 6 or 7 calls to the API, it took time. So we had to wait. For this to happen. That's why we had to set interval. We did look into other options like promises and stuff like that, but it still wasn't working as we expected. So for a matter of getting an MVP, getting something to work now, is we use set interval, but definitely have to go back and check. Promises would probably be the better option in solving that. So what's a promise? A promise is we're gonna wait for it to resolve, and then it will pass a callback. So then we'll be able to get that callback, and then we'll be able to pass it to an array or to whatever we want to do with that.
Yeah, what are the next steps for you guys, other than fixing that to use promises? What are the next steps for your team?
I'd say first, other than that, improving the loading time. I'd say in the future, editing our CSS to make it look a little cleaner, a little nicer. And then also with the Twitter API, one thing I didn't mention was I've set it up using 2 widgets right now. The get function sometimes has trouble formatting. So to get more of a unique feed like with posting, like a more customizable Twitter feed where we can have multiple posts just in for multiple users just in one feed, I would say we'd have to work on that. There's some difficulty with OAuth. There's ways of getting around that using some software that was developed, but it's not with the authentication keys. There do pose some problems.
That's awesome. Angel, were you the project manager?
Yeah, kind of. So it's just managing different types of people, like who does what, and so on and forth. I think another step we would move forward with is that currently the ingredient list, it doesn't narrow it down by tablespoons or teaspoons, so we convert them afterwards to make it more consolidated.
And
so that's
also
another
just-
step. That's still in beta, so we haven't worked on that fully yet.
We also just have to make that whole list, ingredient list, when it comes up to the screen, just much cleaner. It looks like crap. I'll admit it. It's just we kind of did it last minute, not last minute totally, but.
I mean, there's definitely things like we have in mind, like loading speed, as Frankie was saying. We can, we were thinking about maybe using Firebase and having a preload set where we can, we can call from there while you wait for a reload and just keep kind of putting into that array. So you kind of keep building a small database of recipes already. That will definitely reduce the calls to, reduce the time waiting for the calls to come back.
Really smart.
So that's one idea of
Not
building the code.
Well, not to cut you off, but we also, prior to that and using the Firebase, we had a little spinner going, but we realized when we started to push everything up to Heroku, it wouldn't work because of the HTTP.
Yeah, HTTPS. It was doing it wasn't allowing to. Was it cores? I think.
Cores.
Yeah, it wasn't allowing us to call back the spinner.
So we had the spinner
So the
going
redirect
until
was not working.
yeah. So we had the spinner going until everything loaded, and then it looks nicer.
Locally
But
it would work.
we had to just delete it because.
Let's give it up for them, guys. Great job.
Thank you.